What is design thinking? Do you think the term design thinking is a buzzword? No, it's not. Design thinking is an iterative process that tries to understand users with a human-centered and creative approach. It questions the assumptions, redefines business problems, and finds innovative solutions to prototype and test. In simple words, design thinking is a creative way to solve problems. It observes problems from the inside out rather than the outside in, allowing you to not only answer questions but find the right questions to answer. Design thinking is a 5-step process to come up with meaningful ideas that solve real problems for a particular group of people. The process is taught in top design and business schools around the world. It has brought many businesses lots of happy customers and helped entrepreneurs from all around the world to solve problems with innovative new solutions. Step 1. Empathize. The purpose of step 1 is to conduct interviews that give you an idea about what people really care about. We need to empathize with their situation. For example, if you want to help old people, you might find that they want to keep the ability to walk around. In your conversations, they might share with you different ways they can do that. Later into the interview, you will want to dig a little deeper. Look for personal stories or situations where things become difficult. Ideally, you redo the process with many people with the same problem. Step 2. Define the problem. Looking at the interviews, you can now understand the actual needs that the people are trying to fulfill with certain activities. One way to do that is to underline the verbs or activities that the people mentioned when talking about their problems, like going for a walk, meeting old friends for tea, or simply going grocery shopping around the corner store. You might realize it's not so much about going out but more about staying in touch. After you analyze this, formulate a problem statement. Some elderly are afraid to be lonely, they want to stay connected. Step 3. Ideate. Now focus only on the problem statement and come up with ideas that solve the problem. The point is not to get a perfect idea but rather to come up with as many ideas, like unique virtual reality experiences, senior-friendly hoverboards, or a modified pushcart. Whatever it is, sketch up your best idea and show them to the people you are trying to help, so you can get the feedback. Step 4. Prototype. Now take a moment to reflect on what you have learned from your conversations about the different ideas. Ask yourself, how does your idea fit in the context of people's actual lives? Your solution could be a combination of a new idea and what is already being used. Then connect the dots, sketch up your final solution, and go build a real prototype. And that's just good enough to be tested. Step 5. Test. Now test your prototype with actual users. Don't defend your idea in case people don't like it. The point is to learn what works and what didn't. So any feedback is great. Then go back to ideation or prototyping and apply your learning. Repeat the process until you have a prototype that works and solves the real problem. Now you are ready to change the world or open shop.
Design Thinking and Innovation at Apple, a Harvard business case that won 2013 ECCH Case Award. The authors of the business case are Harvard Business School Professor Stephen Kompke and independent researcher Barbara Feinberg. The summary and the presentation are created by Leeway Technology Commercialization Manager from Agency for Science, Technology and Research, Singapore. The full business case is available from Harvard Business Review. In 2012, Apple became the most valuable publicly traded company in history with $600 share price, $620 billion market capital, and $100 billion annual sales. Apple's success was not just the result of strategic moves or innate sense of marketing timing. It is a surprising consistency in the way the company works. Simply put, Apple way first. First, design thinking. Those of us on the original Macintosh team were really excited about what we were doing. The result was the people saw Mac and fell in love with it. There was an emotional connection that I think came from the heart and soul of the designing Bill Atkinson, member of Apple Macintosh development team in the mid-70s. Computers were typically households in the discrete locations and only used by specialists. And notion of computer as a tool for individual work was unmanageable in the 1970s. To help people love the equipment and the experience of using it to the level of complexity needed to reduce dramatically. Apple's product starts with design from people's need, and once the design of the product is not limited by technology, the engineers are pushed to the same kind of creativity and innovation to make the happen design in a very well thought through. True, it is beyond fashion. The capacity and technology to build it is commoditized and no compromise for functionalities. This is design thinking combination of easier desirability thinking, technology possibility and market visibility. The which smallest of details are scrutinized, not just the applications but the product but also its function, features and packaging. The design team kept on going deep until they found the key underlying principle of the problem. Then built on design that is not just what it looks like and feels like design, in how it works, and the simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Second, strategy and execution. You can see a lot by observing. Yogi Berra, Major League Baseball player and manager. Apple's history began in 1976. It launched the first personal computer, Apple II, in 1978. In 1981, IBM entered the market with its PC that can be cloned. Since 1985, Apple's market share kept declining. The board of Apple asked Steve Jobs in the following 11 years, product and projects at Apple prolified and consequence of various strategies, and many of them failed. The technology department process became more traditional and resembled approaches found at other companies' process makes you more efficient, but innovation comes from people calling each other at 10:30 at night with a new idea. It comes from saying no to 10,000 things to make sure we don't get on the wrong track of the track. By Steve Jobs. Everything changed after Steve Jobs returned to Apple in 1997. Decisions were made to achieve the excellence in execution. Stop licensing program eliminated 70% of the new project. Product line was reduced from 15 to only 3. Website was launched for direct sales. Then sophisticated marketing kept product development complete. Secret shutdown facilities and moved them abroad. Inventory was reduced from months to a few days. Apple also adopted the platform strategy for its product, and they designed the initial product as a platform with an architecture that development and the production of the derivative products customers' experience was integrated into Apple's product design and development. A lot of its empirically drive and creative customer involvement. Apple worked intimately with manufacturers and assured that their product be completely attended to customers' Apple's products. The importance of design as a motivation to continue innovation rather than a static approach that assumes a single conclusion. Third, CEO as chief innovator. The really great person who keep on going and find the key underlying principle of the problem and come up with a beautiful, elegant solution that works. Steve Levy authored The Perfect Thing. Company founders essentially imprint their organization with their own personality characteristics, and Apple Jobs is no exception. Steve Jobs and Apple seem like interchangeable terms. Steve Jobs' drive for perfection was Apple's drive for beautiful, elegant products and is superior of operations. Steve Jobs' vision held the Apple's product were to be personal tools for individuals instead of enterprise solutions. Steve Jobs also had total hands-on involvement and decision-making from strategy to product and service designing to packaging for bold business experimentation. The greatest artists like Dylan, Picasso, and Newton risk failure, and if we want to be great, we have to risk it too. Steve Jobs. When everyone was moving online, Apple decided to move into retail and created every Apple store with same painstaking focus on details. Against conventional wisdom of open platform collaboration, community design, transparency, Apple insisted to develop and integrate its own hardware, software, and keep product launches secret. Apple is also constantly learning, adapting, and evolving. From the design of array of colors to black and white colors, theme from closed developer community to the open developer platform, from no compatibility for other OS to Windows compatible. In summary, the root of Apple's success was a set of principles with a deep commitment to great products and services at its core: design thinking, clear development strategy, and execution. His CEO as chief innovator and the rational courage to conduct bold business.
Uber Technologies, commonly known as Uber, is an American company that offers vehicles for hire, food delivery, package delivery, couriers, freight transportation, and through a partnership with Lime electric bicycle and motorized scooter rental. The company is based in San Francisco and has operations in over 900 metropolitan areas worldwide. It is one of the largest providers in the gig economy and is also a pioneer in the development of self-driving cars. Uber is estimated to have over 110 million monthly active users worldwide. In the United States, Uber has a 67% market share for ride sharing and a 24% market share for food delivery. Uber has been so prominent in the sharing economy that the changes in industries as a result of it have been referred to as Uberization, and many startups have described their products as Uber for X. Uber was originally seen as providing a cost-saving platform that matched car owners with empty seats to customers going to the same destination through ride sharing. The model then evolved with dedicated drivers taking customers to wherever they wanted. So Uber has both advantages and disadvantages. The main problem with Uber is that it has some disadvantages, which creates problems sometimes. So, for example, search pricing for Uber, or price time pricing as it is called for Lyft, is controversial and a major annoyance for most customers. Search pricing is a method of pricing in the free market that involves raising or lowering prices depending on supply and demand. For Uber customers, this means how many cars are available and how many passengers want to ride them, which is the demand. Depending on the intensity of demand, prices for Uber services may be increased by a certain percentage. At super peak times, they could even be doubled or tripled. These fare hikes take effect during the periods of high demand for cars, such as a rush hour or during rain and snowstorms, or even during some festivals, or you can say New Year's Eve, or during Eid or Christmas, during these times. Another problem with Uber is that trip cancellations. Although Uber in general is cheaper, more convenient than a local car service or limousine, trip cancellations by drivers can cause disruptions to a passenger's plans. For example, someone can miss his or her flights because of that. Safety concerns. Safety concerns have also emerged in many cities and states where the transportation industry regulations are lax, and average citizens can easily enter the e-hail network as service providers. Although this has a positive effect by increasing the supply of drivers, these drivers might not be as motivated to reach high standards of professionalism and safety. Then another problem is that low fares hurt drivers. Low prices negatively affect drivers' earnings. In major cities like New York and other parts of the world, drivers are encouraged by Uber to purchase late model cars that can cost upwards of $60,000 to $70,000. AC reason contributors actually. Some drivers still rent cars weekly from third parties. They bear most of the costs associated with the service, such as fuel and repairs. Drivers contribute greatly to the Uber brand. Initially, drivers used to rely on the surge changes to make up for low fares, as described before, and infrequent trips. However, with price competition and the continued intake of new drivers by Uber and its competitors, average earnings are being pushed downward. This means the drivers have to work longer hours to earn an income compared to what they would have earned a year or two ago. While this means there is a large supply of drivers, longer hours behind the wheel jeopardize the safety of both drivers and passengers. These conditions, coupled with customer trip cancellations, which can cause a driver to miss opportunities to make money during the busiest hours, can have a negative impact on drivers' earnings and morale.